I'm asking a question as to whether this is a friendly match, because the fact is that we have never heard a single criticism of the BJP from the LDF campaign, and we have not heard a single criticism of the LDF from the BJP campaign. Both have trained their guns on me, their invective, their campaign has been directed solely against me. I'm perfectly willing to take it, but certainly it raises some legitimate questions. We are here because we want to change the government in Delhi. I have made no bones about that. As a Congress candidate, at every junction, at every stop, I have repeatedly made the point that as far as I am concerned, this is an election far greater than my own future. It is about India's future. It is about changing the government in Delhi. That's what we are here to do. We are here to restore democracy, restore a faith in diversity, restore India's pluralism, and restore for the first time the country that most of us grew up in and took for granted until these 10 years have veered it in a very different direction. A country free of communalism, a country free of the kind of bitterness, hatred and unpleasant invective that has dominated our political discourse for the last few years. That's what I'm fighting for. The left claims they're also critical of the BJP, but they've never said a word against the BJP. That's the only question I was asking. Why not?
It directly hits the middle class, it directly hits the aspirational class. They work hard, sweat and toil of theirs is saved in small savings here and there, or they buy a house, a dream house, and keep some fixed deposits. All this is going to be exposed to the so-called property tax. After all, Congress's reputation in terms of property tax goes back, and I remember earlier in 1968, there was a compulsory deposit scheme where people's deposits were all 18%, 20%, something was taken away. There was no justification given. At that time, they would say, oh, recently we had a war, India doesn't have money. Later on, if you see the way in which they have clearly aimed at targeting people who are wealth creators for this country. They work hard, they create money, they create value, they employ people. And therefore, India's economy becomes buoyant. If such wealth creators are going to be punished purely because they have some money kept behind, India's progress in the last 10 years would just go for a zero. And we'll probably be going back to that era when Congress imposed 90% tax. You'll probably not believe, and the current generation wouldn't even remember or know anything about it. There was India when, under the Congress rule, we paid 90% of all that was earned by us as tax. That's the socialist model which the Congress party is comfortable with. But I'm sure their own properties, when transferred from the grandmother to the grandchildren or the father to children, were excluded from all this property tax. So this is a clear ploy that they'll safeguard their own interests, but I'm sorry, people of India will have to keep giving away the earnings from their sweat and toil.
Today is a celebration day in Karnataka. It's a festival of democracy. Millions of people will go out and vote today. My request to people is to come out and vote in big numbers. This is a privilege that we have. This is not just a right, but it's also a duty. Because if we don't vote, we are not registering our voice. If we don't vote, we are not contributing meaningfully in a democracy. The last 10 years has witnessed tremendous growth in the nation. It has transformed the way the country is governed. It's very important for people to go out and vote in big numbers. We have been receiving very positive response everywhere. Just like every year, more senior citizens are seen at the booths. More aged people are seen at the booths. They are coming out in big numbers with great enthusiasm to elect the Prime Minister again. This is, I really wish young people draw inspiration from senior citizens and also come out in big numbers and vote in the polling booths. We are very confident of a massive victory in Bengaluru and in Bengaluru South. The kind of work the Prime Minister has done for the whole of the country the last 10 years, and especially for Bengaluru in the last 5 years, has been phenomenal. We have stood with the people at every crisis, and people are coming out in big numbers with a lot of gratitude and with a lot of aspiration for a brighter tomorrow.
And what about the allegations made by opposition against BJP and Prime Minister Modi?
Sir, Congress party has today become absolutely frustrated. Survey after survey is reporting that the Congress may not cross 30 seats on its own across the country. It is only natural that the Congress is so frustrated, so desperate, that they are making these kind of allegations. But the more personal attacks they make on the Prime Minister, the more personal allegations, baseless allegations they make on the Prime Minister, history has shown that the Prime Minister has only gotten stronger. The BJP has only gotten more popular. So let the attacks keep coming. The blessings of the people is seen today in the long queues in the polling booths.
One last question. Mallikarjun Kharge seeks time from PM Modi to explain Congress Nyaya Patra.
Well, you know, the Congress is trying every kind of gimmick possible to, make a last effort to go to people. But the fact that Mallikarjun Kharge seeks to meet the Prime Minister to explain the Congress party's manifesto indicates that maybe perhaps even the Congress realizes that it will be the PM who will have to implement some good ideas that may be present in the Congress manifesto. So if at all there is one person who is coming to power and who will implement anything, it will be the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Perhaps this is an admission of the Congress that they are not going to come anywhere near power for the next 2 decades.